You're standing in line. Your phone is dead. There is nothing to look at but a wall. Within seconds, something in you starts to itch. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your fingers. You call it boredom. But the real answer is far stranger. That itch isn't a flaw in your brain. It's a signal your ancestors couldn't afford to ignore. Think about the last time you were truly bored. Not tired, not sad. Just empty, restless, aching for something to happen. It's an uncomfortable feeling. Almost unbearable. So you reach for your phone, you scroll, you refresh an app that hasn't changed in 10 seconds. Why does an empty moment feel like a threat? To understand that, you have to go back. Not years, not centuries, hundreds of thousands of years, to a version of you standing in tall grass, scanning the horizon for movement. Back then, stillness was dangerous. A mind that stayed calm and unstimulated for too long was a mind that stopped noticing. Stopped noticing the rustle in the brush. Stopped noticing the shift in wind carrying a predator's scent. Boredom in that world wasn't an inconvenience. It was a warning system. Psychologist John Eastwood at York University has spent years studying exactly this feeling. His research describes boredom as the unpleasant experience of wanting to engage with the world, but being unable to. Not laziness, not apathy, a kind of hunger. A mind straining against its own stillness, desperate for something worth paying attention to. That hunger had a purpose once. It pushed your ancestors to keep moving, keep scanning, keep searching for food, for water, for information that might save their lives. A bored brain was a brain still working, still watching, still alive to its surroundings. So what happens when that ancient alarm system meets a modern world with nothing left to hunt? You get exactly what you feel in that checkout line. A system built for scarcity, drowning in stimulation it was never designed to filter. Here's where it gets stranger. Boredom didn't just keep your ancestors alert, it may have built their minds. Psychologist Sandy Mann ran a study where she had participants complete a dull task first, like copying numbers from a phone book, before asking them to come up with creative uses for a pair of cups. The bored group generated more original ideas than a group that skipped the tedious task entirely. Something about the emptiness pushed their minds to wander. And wandering, it turns out, is where new ideas are born. Think about that. The feeling you spent all day trying to escape might be the exact condition your brain needs to solve a problem. Imagine something new, or notice a connection you'd otherwise miss. Your ancestors didn't have Netflix to fill the gaps. They had long stretches of walking, waiting, watching fires burn low. And in those gaps, something had to happen inside the mind. Stories got built, patterns got noticed, tools got imagined before they got made. Boredom wasn't empty time. It was incubation time. But here's the twist that changes everything. Modern life didn't get rid of boredom. It just changed what triggers it and how fast. Neuroscientist James Dankert at the University of Waterloo has studied how the brain responds when a person can't find something meaningful to engage with, even when their environment is full of options. His work suggests boredom isn't about having nothing to do. It's about having nothing that feels worth doing. That's a critical difference. You can be surrounded by screens, apps, endless content, and still feel that same ancient itch, because none of it satisfies the deeper hunger for meaning your brain is actually asking for. That's why scrolling rarely fixes boredom. It just postpones it. You open an app, and 30 seconds later, some part of you is already searching for the next thing. The itch never really goes away. It just gets buried under a pile of notifications. Why does that matter? Because the instinct itself, the discomfort, the restlessness, was never the enemy. It was a compass. It was pointing you towards something worth your attention. Somewhere along the way, we built a world that hijacks that compass and spins it in circles instead of letting it point anywhere real. Imagine your ancestors sitting by a fire at dusk, no predator in sight, no task left to finish. That restlessness didn't vanish. It turned inward. It became storytelling. It became the first songs, the first myths, the shapes drawn on cave walls by firelight. Boredom pushed the human mind to create meaning out of nothing, because meaning was the only thing that could quiet the itch. You still carry that same mechanism, But instead of a fire and an open night sky, you have a screen that answers the itch instantly, shallowly, and briefly. It scratches without ever actually solving anything. So what if boredom was never a malfunction? What if it was never supposed to be avoided at all? What if it was designed to be